Porro, especially in pre-season, there's been so many instances where goals had come from areas that he was meant to be covering. So you're like, ooh, would you really want to trust him with the pace that United were going to throw down the flank? But 100% made everyone eat their words, doubts, concerns, whatever, because he was excellent. Like you say, I think there's been performances he's had that have maybe been more eye-catching in terms of he scored goals or he's put in lovely crosses for goals. But in terms of defensively, I think that was his best by a country mile. He was so good. I'm trying to think of many instances where they got in down the left. I really, as in their left, I can't think of many. I thought Porro was outstanding, and it was actually quite nicely timed that we'd spoken to him out on tour, and the interview we'd done with Porro hadn't actually gone out. There's so many interviews we did. We have to kind of hold some over and hope that they didn't date. And Porro was one of those, and we just happened to put him out a couple of days before this match, and then lo and behold, there he is starting in the lineup. And he spoke in that interview about the need to change and try to be something different as a right back. And I'm trying to look if I've got the quotes here somewhere. He said, "My position under Postecoglou will be a defender, but the system is different, and I'm happy with whatever comes." And yes and no, there is a big difference, but being a right wing back is being like a winger, and I tried to adapt to that position, but it's still different when you're attacking because just as a natural right back, you have to surprise the opposition. Because obviously, I guess, yeah, as a wing back, you're constantly so high up the pitch, whereas as a right back, you've got to make these unexpected runs. And he said, you've just got to get into the habit of defending. I've gone forward since I've been a professional. So in coming back, it's always a bit more challenging, but I keep on trying. And I think Micky van der Ven explained it after the game as well, that they just spent all week, the defence, working out exactly when to drop, when to run back, when to stay high up the pitch, when the fullbacks would invert and come inside the pitch. And they'd made a real focus on that. And you could see. And the thing I think I said to you before the game, is that the fastest back four that Spurs have had for years? As a unit, I can't think of many. Because I can't remember if it was you or someone else suggested, obviously you had Walker and Danny Rose at a time of very lightning quick down the wings, but at the fullbacks situation. But centre backs, you had Vertonghen and Alderweireld, who, let's be honest, they're not 100-meter runners. But as to actually have now two fast fullbacks, Van der Ven, who is just incredibly pacey, Romero, who's no slouch, I think that's got to be up there. And so what would happen was every time the ball was played forward, and the likes of Anthony, Rashford, and Garnacho would fly up the pitch, they were being matched for speed. Spurs were able to turn, and the defenders weren't getting caught on their heels. And it makes such a difference with a high line. And it does make you worry for people like Eric Dyer. We've seen Eric Dyer hasn't even been a part of the squad, and it is entirely noticeable. And it's also what makes you kind of really see why a Clement Longley return doesn't probably make much sense. Because while he's very good technically, you would worry about him having to turn and deal with the balls over the top, which is one of the natural kind of counters to the Postecoglou system. But I thought, yeah, Porro was excellent, and he deserves all the credit he can get, really. I was just trying to think if I can remember any point where someone got in behind him, and I really can't, and that's a massive testament to his performance.